I want to share with you the 5 things that I teach my kids about money. Money is one of those things that we all interact with. It's going to be there from a very young age to a very old age. It's going to dictate the quality of your life and the quality of experiences that you have. It's something that is always there in the background, and it's going to be part of life whether you like it or not. So it's important to understand how money works. I teach my kids 5 lessons to set them up so they have a good relationship with money for the rest of their life. So last week I was in a coffee shop and I overheard a dad talking to his daughter about money. She was interested in how the coffee shop worked, how the coffee shop made money. She was interested in how much things cost and why they cost that sort of money. And the dad was kind of talking to her in a way that money was taboo, that you shouldn't be asking about money, that things are very expensive, that it's very difficult to set up a business, all of those sorts of things. He was really deterring her from that conversation. And I realized that this is in very much contrast to the way I talk to my kids about money. And I think I'm giving my kids an advantage just by having a healthy conversation around money, as opposed to a disadvantage if we talk about money as though it's somehow a taboo subject. You may or may not have kids, but you definitely grew up with conversations around money when you were growing up, and maybe it's time to reevaluate some of the ways that you think about money as you go forward. So lesson number 1, money is not scarce. There's plenty of money everywhere. There is so much money. There's more money on the planet than ever before. We can print the stuff when we need to print the stuff. There is money in people's bank accounts. There's millionaires on every street. There are plenty of people who spend $300,000 or $400,000 on a car. There are plenty of people who fly private jets. Every single time someone like Taylor Swift does a concert, she sells out 100,000 seats at thousands of dollars a ticket, and she does that in cities all over the world. So money is everywhere. It's not scarce. It's not a scarce or limited resource. It's literally everywhere. In fact, the exact number as of 2025 is that there is $123 trillion worth of money on the planet. There is plenty of it. It's like saying there's no water on the planet and the planet is covered with water, right? There's plenty of money on the planet as well. So lesson number 1 is it's not scarce. You do not want to set up a scarcity mindset around money when it comes to yourself or with your kids. You want your kids and you want yourself to believe that there's just plenty of it out there, and that it's only a matter of figuring out how you're going to access it that really counts. But there's no scarcity. It's not in limited supply. In fact, money is just an idea, and we can literally make up more of it whenever we choose. Now, even you as an adult might have these old scarcity views about money. Maybe you think that it's wrong to want more money. Maybe you think that having $1 million or $10 million or $100 million would be somehow a bad thing because someone else is missing out on money. The truth is, money is in such plentiful supply, and any amount of money, especially if you got that money through entrepreneurship, was created through fair exchange, and that you have access to a massive pool of money, and so does everybody else. So you want to delete this idea of scarcity from your mind and from the kids. Rule number 2 is that money loves a purpose. Money is attracted to purpose. It's attracted to a particular cause that we want to advance. So for example, have you ever noticed that if there's some sort of emergency that requires some money, there's always a way to find some more or conjure it up? If there's a really burning cause that needs to be fulfilled, it's often the case that we get creative when we figure out how to generate more money. I've seen situations where people say they've got no money, and then suddenly they've got a big purpose, they've got a big cause, and then they go out there and they find it and they figure it out. So money is very linked to purpose and cause. One of the most basic ways that I teach my kids to have a purpose for money and to have a cause for money is what we call money buckets. So for me personally, I have multiple bank accounts, and what I do is I petition money for each different purpose. So it might be a tax account, it might be a savings account, might be a holiday account, might be an investing account, right? So each account has a particular purpose, and I'm moving money into those accounts based upon those purposes. So the key idea is that I teach my kids that money is attracted to having a strong sense of purpose. When you know what the money is going to be used for, it's much easier to get your hands on it. Rule number 3 is that money loves speed and money loves outcomes. The speed at which you can create an outcome really attracts money. And money is not really interested in effort or hard work or taking a long time. It wants things to be fast and it wants outcomes. So for example, what I do is I teach my kids that if you stack the dishwasher by this particular time, which is a short window of time in the next 15 minutes, then you'll get 2 pounds. If you stack it in the next 30 minutes, you get 1 pound. And if you do it in the next hour, you'll get 50p. So I'm giving them lessons that the faster they achieve an outcome, the more money they'll get. And the slower they achieve an outcome, the less money they'll get. Now, this is the opposite with a job. A lot of people, when they've got a job, they think if I take longer, I'll get paid more because I'm getting paid by the hour. And what I want my kids to think is that they're getting paid by the outcome, and that money loves speed and it loves outcomes. Rule number 4 is money is just a tool. It is a tool like any other. It's like a saw or a hammer or a chainsaw or a car or a crane. It's just a tool that you can use to create outcomes better or faster than you could without that tool. Money is not inherently evil. It's not inherently good. In the same way, a knife can be used to make a beautiful dinner, or it can be used to do something horrible, right? So it's just a tool. It's how you use the tool. So we talk about this idea that money is just a tool. There is no emotions around money. It's just a tool. It creates leverage. So in addition to this, what we talk about is that we need to learn how to use the tool effectively. There's no point having access to a crane if you don't know how to use a crane. It could be dangerous handling a wood saw if you weren't taught how to handle the wood saw. So we reinforce the idea that we need to learn the skills associated with using this tool called money, and that anything bad that could happen around money is probably linked to not knowing how to use it properly. So it's just a tool, and we just need to know how to handle the tool. And there are different types of tools like debt or like savings, and we can use those tools as and when it's the right time to use those tools. So we're talking about money as though it's just a tool. It's not a big emotional topic. It's just something that we need to learn how to handle, just like riding a bike, driving a car, using a saw, or any other tool that you might use. Money is just another tool. So a lot of entrepreneurs that I talk to, they only have a very basic understanding of money. They don't use multiple bank accounts. They don't use debt. They don't understand compounding. It would be like having an amazing phone that could do lots of different things. It has all sorts of functions, but you only use it for basic calls and texts. You're not using the camera. You're not using any of the apps. You're just using the tool for like the most basic uses. And what we want to do, just like with a phone, you can get enormous value from it if you know how to use it. Same thing with money. You can get enormous value if you use all the features and functionality that goes with this particular tool. The 5th rule that I talk to my kids about is money loves attention. If we pay attention to money and we send it out carefully, it will go out and find some friends, and it will bring its friends back to the bank account. And we call that compound interest, or we call it dividends, and we call it yield or rent. Also, if we ignore money and we don't give it a lot of attention, it just magically disappears. It goes off and it finds a new friend. So the idea here is that we want to have a lot of attention around money. There's definitely been times where my kids have lost money because they weren't paying attention. There's been times where my eldest son did a job and he completed the task, but he didn't come and ask me for the money. So he didn't pay much attention to getting paid. When he came to me and said he didn't have a lot of money in his money box, I pointed out to him that he had actually done a lot of chores, but he hadn't come to me and asked for the money. So this is all part of paying attention to the money. We've got to make sure that if we pay attention, it's going to be well looked after and it's going to multiply. And if we ignore it, it's going to disappear and go find a new friend. So money loves attention. So there we go. We've got 5 key ideas. It's not scarce. It loves a purpose. It loves speed. It's just a tool, and it loves some attention. And if we follow those 5 rules, we get a better relationship with money, and we can use it as an effective tool to enhance our lives and the lives of people around us. Let me know, what do you think? What are you teaching your kids about money? Leave me a comment below. Do you think it's a good idea to teach kids about money? Do you think it's a bad idea? What are your thoughts? Leave me a comment below. Give this video a like and a subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you soon. All the best.